Let's pick an England squad for the World Cup then, shall we? Go on then. It's only 2 weeks and Steve Borthwick will be doing exactly that. So I think it's about time that we nail down the 33 men. Well, certainly the 33 men that I think will be going. Not, and I will stress, this is not me picking the 33 that I would pick. This is me predicting Steve Borthwick's squad. Join me in the comments with your thoughts on that, what you think Borthwick will do, and whether he's right or wrong on it. Plenty to discuss because Steve Borthwick has announced. Well, and will this be the last update to the squad, which sees Billy Vunipola and Ollie Lawrence come off the rehab list into the main squad? It sees Bevan Rodd, who left the squad, coming back in. So that's 3 in. Mako Vunipola was on the rehab list. He's out. And Vaurapava Ruskin, gone. Interesting what's going on at Loosehead Prop, isn't it? Right, speaking of which, that's where I'm going to start because I'm going to go through position by position, the players I think are nailed on, likely to go, and then we'll have an idea of where the bun fights are in the race for positions. So, Loosehead Prop, and I think it's fairly easy, this one. Genj and Marla look like they're 1 and 2. They're both going. I would say Bevan Rodd is going to go into the World Cup. Purely for the fact he's still in the squad and there's only 3 of them. But then the fact that Vaurapava Ruskin was in the squad last week and Bevan Rodd was bombed out makes me you've got to leave open the possibility that Vaurapava Ruskin or even Mako Vunipola could come back in. Why that Steve Borthwick would do that, I don't know. It feels like there's more to this story than we know, because why would you cut Bevan Rodd and then bring him back in if he was going to be part of your World Cup plans? It's odd. What's going on with Vaurapava Ruskin, I don't know. But I'm leaving that possibility alive for the 3rd spot. For hooker, I think it's quite simple as well. Jamie George is the number 1 hooker by a mile, the only player with real international experience beyond a couple of caps. I predict Jack Walker will be the backup if fit. Little asterisk next to his name. If fit, he will be the backup. He wasn't during the Six Nations. He's currently rehabbing. If fit, that's how I see it, with then the 3rd spot being taken by Jamie Blamire and Theo Dan, who are both a different type of quite explosive hooker. So that's how I see things there. Tight head prop, a lot simpler. 3 in the squad, 3 are going. Cole, Sinclair, Stewart, done. Lock, Maro Itoje, nailed on. Ollie Chesham, if fit, again, asterisk next to his name. If fit, I think he will travel. He will go. After that, it's hard to call. You've got Johnny Hill, British and Irish line. You've got Dave Ribbons, the incumbent, was playing really well for England more recently, and Johnny Hill wasn't in the squad. George Martin as well, someone that I've talked about many times. Steve Borthwick loves George Martin. I don't know, any combination of those could happen, but there's 2 that I see will be going, so long as Ollie Chesham's fit. Back row, this is by far the most competitively fought area of the England squad, and the 4 players that I've got that I believe will be going are Curry, Laws, Jack Willis, and more than likely Lewis Ludlam. Although I have put him on the likely column, the other 3 nailed on. But then, I mean, what a battle for those other positions. Not even mentioning players like Zach Mercer, who were ditched from the squad. So yeah, moving on. Scrum half, 3 in the squad, 3 will go. Kerr, Van Portvliet, and Youngs. I'm only looking forward at this point. I'm not going to look back. I'm not going to mention Alex Mitchell. I'm honest. I'm not going to talk about Alex Mitchell at all and how he should be there. No, let's move on. What's more interesting is what does that tell us about the way Steve Borthwick is going to set up his England team to play? That's something we can talk about. Fly half is similarly simple. 3 in the squad, 3 will go. And I think that alphabetical order that they're in there is the pecking order of the England 10s as I see it. Farrell at 1, Ford at 2, Smith at 3. They all will play. They all are superb. That's how I see it. Embarrassed for riches at fly half, England are. Centre, with Ollie Lawrence back fit, I think he will go. I think Manu Tuolangi as well. More than likely Henry Slade, although his dip in form means you can't count out the fact, well, that's why I've moved him from that column to that column, is that Henry Slade has not been playing brilliantly. And then you've got Joe Marchant, you've got Guy Porter. How Steve Borthwick manages those. Does he think of Elliot Daly as a part-time centre? Does he think of Owen Farrell as a part-time centre? And then that might help you make your decision. We will get into that in just a moment. The back 3, I have got no one in the sort of question mark column because there's so many in that question mark column. I don't know who's going to make the cut. beyond Watson, Stewart, Arundel. Other than that, I think it's open season and we have got lots to talk about. So when you take that into account, what I've gone through so far, 25 out of the 33 men in the World Cup squad are accounted for. 8. Who are going to get those 8 spots? And how do you compose your squad? How many back row players? How many back 3 players? How many utility players? How many do you count as centre and back line? How many out and out number 8s do you need? There's so many questions, and I'm not totally sure the way it's going to go. I'm going to do my best at predicting, however, starting with the loose head position, which, like I say, this is a strange one. I don't understand the logic of dropping Bevan Rod only to bring him back in. So that leads me to believe either any of these players could be back in the squad and be going to France, or something happened. Maybe Vaura-Pava-Ruskin didn't train very well, or who knows. Anyway, I think the most logical option is Bevan Rod will be going to France. So that's what I'm going to go with for now. Tell me what you think. Theo Down and Jamie Blamire, both really exciting, aggressive, explosive players. Theo Dan is definitely a modern hooker, new breed. Can he impress enough in training to jump ahead of Jamie Blamire, he's a hard man and a fiery character, and I think will get the edge. So I'm going Jamie Blamire as the third hooker. Second row, again, I said Itoje and Chesham, so long as Chesham's fit. I think there's an argument you only take 3 locks because Courtney Laws can operate in that area. Flip side is, do you take 4 locks because a George Martin or a Ollie Chesham or an Amaro Itoje can play at blindside? I think there's an argument for that as well. I've got a feeling he might go for the 4 locks for that reason. So Johnny Hill was out of favour. He has got class. He was taken on a British and Irish Lions tour. Maybe in camp he's been able to do what he needs to do. That's just my gut feeling. I know he loves George Martin. I've got a feeling George Martin may have been there as the Ollie Chesham substitute, if you like. But hey, this is an open call. It's a toss of a coin, this one. This is just the way I'm going. What do you think? As for the back row, we'll just get out of the way of Ben Earl there. 4 players I've got in the squad already, remember. Tom Curry, Jack Willis, Lewis Ludlam can all play on the flank. Who else did I have? Jack Willis, Tom Curry, Courtney Laws, Lewis Ludlam. No, they're the 4, obviously. I don't know how you compose the squad. I think definitely you have to take an out-and-out number 8, which means it's Dombrandt, Vunipola, or Willis. Or is it 2 of them? I could legitimately see Dombrandt and Vunipola. I could see Vunipola and Willis. I could see Willis and Dombrandt. And I think you need another flanker. So I think it's going to be a shootout between Earl and Pearson. So I think 2 of these guys will definitely go. 3 of them could go. But I'm guessing 2. And I don't know. This is me predicting what Steve Borthwick will do. And there is nobody that has the unique skill set that Billy Vunipola does. That ball carrying ability. There is nobody else quite like him. Alex, and again, this goes back to, remember what I was talking about with the scrum halves. It's more interesting to think about how does it demonstrate what England are going to do. And I think England are going to play quite a pragmatic kicking game. Wingers chasing kicks all day, which again, Johnny May's still in the squad. That says to me, that gives me an idea about how England are going to play. I think there's going to be a lot of control, a lot of territorial kicking. And for that reason, I think Alex Dombrandt's skills maybe aren't going to be needed in the same way. And I think maybe it's Billy Vunipola or Tom Willis. Possibly both of them, but that's the way I'm going. Tom Pearson over Ben Earl. They're both fantastic players. But I've just gone with Willis because he's a bit of a unique skill set difference maker. And then we move into and I've lumped them together, the outside backs and the back 3. Because you could view Elliot Daly as a winger fullback who can also play centre, but you could also look at Joe Marchant as a centre that can play on the wing. you can think of Max Malins as an auxiliary player that can play across the back line as well. So when I look at that, because England have so many versatile players that can slot into different positions, that's where I just think, and this wouldn't necessarily be this. No, not even necessarily. This wouldn't be my selection, but I think Steve Borthwick is going to go. Well, actually, I'll save that one because let's just rule out Guy Porter. I think Guy Porter was there in case Ollie Lawrence didn't recover and get fit. I'm guessing Guy Porter's not going to go. Hey, he may well do, but that's just my guess at this moment in time. With Tuolangi and Lawrence, I think Porter is surplus to requirements. The next person I'm going to cut is Johnny May. Although for the reason I've just discussed, that I think Steve Borthwick's going to play a big kicking game, I could see Johnny May getting in there. I just think there's too much quality in other positions. So then, what 3 of those 4 do you take? I don't think you take all 4. I think you take 3 of them. And I've just got a feeling that Steve Borthwick, because he has got lots of utility players that can play in different positions, I think he might take someone who's got a point of difference. And that's Joe Thockiner-Singer. So my guess, again, not the squad I would pick, but my guess is that Max Malins, Elliot Daly, and Joe Thockiner-Singer may go, and Joe Marchant may miss out. So if I just get myself out of the way so you can see what my predicted final squad is. There are your 33 men. What do you think of that? Back row and back 3, easily the hardest areas to pick. I just see Marchant missing out at centre because Farrell can play inside centre. Lawrence, Tuolangi and Slade can all play outside centre. And you've also got Elliot Daly as well. So I think there's cover there that you may not need Marchant. Although equally, I look at the back row and, you know, in this little guess, Don Brandt and Tom Willis are not in. But I could quite easily see one more back row player coming in and Johnny Hill going out. Or George Martin coming in instead of Tom Pearson, for example. There's any number of combinations can work. And just to spin it up, I could just as easily as this is my predicted squad, could just as easily see it a little bit different with, say, Ben Erlin and Joe Marchant coming in as a centre and Joe Thockiner-Singer missing out. It's a really, really keenly contested area, and I've only done my... I'm fairly confident in probably 30 names. The last 3 just depends on how you want to play, who's training well, and how Steve Borthwick feels on the morning he wakes up, ready to announce his squad, which is on the 7th of August. What do you think? Do you agree, disagree? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you on the next video. Nice one.